The following is an excerpt from Adventures in Gray Polyester, Volume 1, Ignorance, Ineptitude, and Indecency, Inside the World of Hotel Security. Story titled, You Know Better. So the Art Evans Hotel was one of the first sites I ever went to for the company. If I had to guess, I'd say probably the third or fourth site. For reference, the shift time was 2200 to 0600, and a full written report was expected. When I arrived, I met Jerry and Karen. Jerry was the guard who was working the shift and would be training me for it. And Karen was front desk agent employed by the hotel. So Jerry took me through the tour and gave me an idea of what I could expect night to night normally. This was a Thursday, and the following night I was scheduled to train with Harry, who I did not hear good things about from Jerry or Karen. I would later learn that Harry was harassing and possibly even stalking Karen, which was definitely not cool. But I digress. Jerry went through everything with me on Thursday night with a bit of a blasé attitude. I came in Friday night at 21:45. I was always taught that on time is late, so I made a habit of being early. I said hello to Karen, went into the office to set up and wait for Harry. 2200 comes and goes, and no Harry. By 22:30, I decided that I had best try to reach management. I called the scheduling manager, but received no answer. I left her a message. Hey Chris, I'm here at the Art Evans, and I'm supposed to be training with Harry, but he's not here. I'm confident in my ability to assume the shift on my own since I trained with Jerry last night, but I thought I should let you know what was going on. I then went about the normal duties of the shift. As I pulled into my driveway at 0700, Chris called me. Hey Ken, I got your message. Sorry about the lack of communication. Harry's been let go for reasons I can't share, and I spaced completely on the fact that he was supposed to be training you. I responded, yeah, no worries. Everything went well. I had it completely under control. She came back with, glad to hear it. Any chance you could work it tonight and tomorrow night as well, since Harry was meant to work it and now he's gone? I jumped at the chance. After all, this meant 16 hours of overtime, and as I said, I had a family to take care of. Yeah, of course, I'll be there. With a sigh of relief I wouldn't truly understand until later, she said, awesome, thanks so much. I went inside and got some rest to prepare for later, but no amount of sleep was going to prepare me for the shit show that would follow. That night, the shift was going pretty well, till about 0000, which is when the desk got a noise complaint from room 204. I went up, of course, and knocked on the door. A young man answered the door and tried to block me from being able to see inside. But he was unsuccessful. I could see inside, and they had some 20 people in the room, which was not allowed. They had set up tables and were playing beer pong, and the room was full of smoke. Everything okay, officer? The kid was clearly nervous. I kind of chuckled, having never expected myself to be in the role I was now playing. Okay, bud. We got a noise complaint. It's midnight. Folks are trying to sleep. You've got this room beyond capacity, and you're smoking in the room, which is going to be a charge, not to mention we have no outside alcohol rule, and I'm fairly certain you didn't buy all those cans of beer here. He started to stammer, so I leaned in and said quietly, look, buddy, I'm not trying to break your balls. So make things easy on both of us and go in there, turn down the music, and send half these people home. Sound good? He jumped at this. Yeah, sounds great, sir. Thank you. Thank me by making sure I don't have to come back up here. I went back to business as usual and hoped for the best. The best did not occur. About an hour later, we received another complaint, so Up I went. The same young man answered the door and began to apologize profusely before being pushed out of the way by a young woman, who looked at me and said, "The fuck you want?" I replied with, "As I told this gentleman earlier, your gathering is far too loud, and your room is not meant to house this many people. It's my birthday. I'll be as loud as I want." "Well, happy birthday, miss, but I'm afraid you're going to have to keep the noise down some. You are more than welcome to move the festivities down to the lobby gathering area if you wish, as there the noise and number of people will not be an issue." She gave me a very peculiar look. "I'll think about that." She then tried to close the door. This is when I added, "We here at the Art Evans have a 3-strike policy. If I get another complaint, I won't be talking to you. I'll be talking to the local PD." She got very angry. "Fuck you, man. What you gonna do?" At this point, a man ushered her back into the room and came out, closing the door behind him. When I got a look at his face, my jaw dropped. It was Jerry, the guard who had trained me for this job just 2 days earlier. The guy who had explained in great detail all the hotel rules which he and his party were blatantly disregarding. Realizing that I had recognized him, he rather sheepishly said, "Hi." I was flabbergasted, and all I could manage to say was, "You know better." "Hey, listen," I cut him off as annoyance replaced my dumbfoundedness. "No, man, no. Get this shit under control. It's strike 2 here, and you know what happens at strike 3. I then went back downstairs and included everything in my report. I wish it ended there, but it did not. At 0200, I received yet another complaint, and I did just as I said that I would. The police arrived and cleared the gathering. Jerry had already left. Turns out the room had been rented by him, at a discount no less, due to his working there often. The whole event was included in my report. The next day I received a call from my branch manager, Vince, at 1000. It woke me. I'd only gotten to bed at 0730. "Hello?" "Ken." "Speaking." "It's Vince at the company." I sat up, trying to bring my senses to bear. "Yes, sir. What can I do for you?" "Could you come into the office?" I felt a twinge of dread. "Sure. What time?" "Can you come now?" Sure. It'll take me like an hour to get there." "Great. See you at 11:30. And he hung up. Every possible horrible outcome was running through my mind as I dressed and drove to the office. When I got there, he took me into his office and he had me sit. He then slowly and deliberately closed his door and sat across from me. He pulled a few sheets of paper out of his desk. "I'm looking at your report from last night here." "Okay." He slides the report over to me. "I already know what I'm going to do, but I want to know, what would you do about Jerry if you were me?" Every warning bell in my head screamed, "It's a trap!" But I steadied my nerves and I met Vince's gaze, giving the only answer that made sense to me. I can't really answer that properly, as I don't know his full track record and behavioral history. But I do know for sure that this was behavior unbecoming of an officer, and it made all of us look bad. Vince sat and looked at me for a moment. It felt longer, but was likely not. "Thank you, Ken. You can go get some rest." I never saw Jerry again. But this incident inside my first month of employment really set the tone for the insanity that would follow over the next 5 years. That was an excerpt from Adventures in Gray Polyester Volume 1, Ignorance, Ineptitude, and Indecency Inside the World of Hotel Security. Thank you, and be sure to come back for further videos in the future.